Hello and welcome to Sunk Cost Fallacy video. Sorry, I'm a little bit out of touch of making videos. I haven't done them in a while and yeah, a little bit rusted in. Hopefully it will not be too terrible. Yeah, as you can see, we got a Bambu Lab A1 combo here, which is a 3D printer, if you haven't guessed it. And I'm a total noob beginner in the 3D printing space. Let's talk a little bit why we got to it. So actually my daughter has been pestering me for quite a while. She's 8 years old and yeah, why don't we have a 3D printer and stuff like that? And that was the one thing. And then very recently I spotted on a video the A1 Mini, the Bambu A1 Lab A1 Mini, which is about 200 bucks at the moment. And yeah, it felt for me like the barrier for entry has been reduced to quite a low level. And then I started watching YouTube videos and all the stuff and get a little bit into it. And finally, then when we're already spending 200, and we could get the AMS, then we are at 350. So this is like for the combo here. The combo with the Bambu Lab is that we got the automatical material delivery system here, which means you can print with multiple colors of filaments. So you can do a multicolor print, like the printer itself is like 350, I think, or 300, and the AMS is like 250, and together we get them for 500 at the moment in this combination, which is a bit more than the 200 for the A1 Mini. But I went for the A1 in the end because we actually can mount the AMS on top, and we are very space restricted. And with 500, we are already at the point where the more professional Bambu Lab printers come in. But yeah, so we could go up from that and that. But like from the videos I saw, like the control unit and the usability should be better on this one than the higher up devices, which are more for professional use. So yeah. Let's get it out of the box. Let's get it running. Sadly, my filaments haven't arrived, but on the good side, I'm probably able to end the video in some time because Halloween is coming up. I ordered like a sale on Halloween themed filaments. So that's something which I ordered, which is not yet here. So we have to contain ourselves with what is in the box. But yeah, have the whole unboxing experience. I think that's just like a quite nice overview for somebody coming into the space from a total beginner and entry level point as I am. And if somebody more professional is watching the whole thing, please fill out all the complaints and all the errors I make in the comments, because yeah, that's very helpful as well. Yeah, see you in the box. So here we are, mostly unboxed. We have the AMS. The little bit of filament that came with the printer, 20 grams. Those are the funnels for the AMS. I think that actually takes up most of the space. The stand for the AMS, spools, probably everything we need for assembly is probably in this box. A little boat model components. Hopefully the filament we have is enough, and some filament swatches for seeing all the colors they have on offer and to order more filament. Yeah, start building it up. See, didn't film the unboxing because it was too unwieldy and too little space here, but yeah, getting out of the box is not that interesting after all. And yeah, with that amount of filament, it will probably be a short video overall. What's in the box? Yeah, so we have it further cleaned up from the shipping material, and now we'll go step by step and assemble the whole thing. Manual is only in English. It has quite some text in it, which I appreciate. That's usually quite helpful. Like all the screws have noted bags here, which is quite nice. So first step is to add the plate here, the build plate, which it looks a little bit in the manual like you would need to slide it in, but the magnets are quite strong, so you have to drop it there. Then we have to turn over the machine to remove the screws which are transportation security. They are marked here by the orange stickers there, which is quite nice. So the screws are really tight, so it requires some force to remove them. They have the nice click when they go off, but yeah, it's really some force is required, so don't be shy there. And then you have to get them all out, all four of them, in order for the bed to move and yeah, to be unlocked. There was a hint here that you should secure the bed with the foam, which didn't make much sense, but here in a later step it's actually maybe necessary or helpful. Now we move on with mating the base and the base housing and the printer frame, which is quite easy. Just stick them together, then pinch the cables. This small screen, the screen on the right, helps you with the orientation if you are confused. And then let's remove all the zip ties here, which is quite nice marked in the manual. So you have like all the places where they should be, and little plastic on the below them, especially on the top or on the left and right ones. Does help a little bit so you won't scratch the frame, so that's quite nice. And I had like an additional one on the left there, like on the top. There should only be one from the manual. So maybe somebody in the factory was too generous with the zip ties, but yeah, that left one was a little bit of a tiny struggle to get loose without damaging anything. But yeah, just don't be too hasty. Removing those was a little bit of a pain, because they stuck quite fast, and I was a little bit worried because of the marking on the x-axis that you should not yeah, carry it around on that, and so I was a little bit worried, and to put in as much force as was required to remove them. After the first couple of ones went quite fast. And, yeah. Then remove all the paper there, the paper on the left, and we are probably done. Is there still anything left? No, it seems good. So next step was a little bit confusing for me. I did a little bit different than the manual, because yeah, it would be right a little bit difficult to do it as they suggest. I think it's much easier if you just turn around the whole thing, even if it's not quite connected yet, but should stick together well enough, or it did for me at least. Yeah. Do it on your own risk, but yeah, you can actually grip the upper part of the frame and move it around quite nice. And if you have access from the other side, yeah, as we do here, it's much easier to understand. To remove the cover here gently, cable's a little bit away, and then we see all the green markings are where we have to put in the screws from the marked back, and then we have all the screws in. The thing should be secured, and yeah. One thing to notice here that they seem to give you a spare screw on all the major number screws which we have here, which is nice on the one hand. On the other hand, especially here, it makes it a little bit more difficult to actually to have the security that you put in all the screws. Then we have to put in the two on the top there, and the whole thing, the frame and the printer part, should be connected to each other, so the housing. Yeah. Of course, we shouldn't forget to put the cover back in. Yeah, it's a little bit finicky, but nothing problematic, and should click in with a satisfying click, and then we are set for the next step. A little bit earlier I mentioned the bed security, and here's where it actually comes into place. So if you tilt it over, make sure that the bed doesn't slash down or hits anything and breaks. So they recommend to put some paper below it. I used a desk pad here, and we have to turn it over to get to the back side and connect both parts electrical to each other via this connector here. Actually, here I did a little bit of an error because I didn't plug in the USB Type-C deep enough, and I had some errors later on. So maybe I would have needed some more light and security. It sounded like it was seated well, but I got some printhead error, and then I had to remove the screw. And actually, the screw is no indicator because there's like it's a long hole, so does not matter too much. If it's set so yeah, the USB-C was not connected right. Also, like you see the colors here, or the color markings on the cables match the connector ones. Wouldn't press too firmly on the cables. I'll try to go to via the sides there. Yeah, the lower cable was a little bit of a mess, so to properly cable manage it. But then you see there's where you have the feeds there, so there is a little bit of wriggle room. So if you don't get it in, but quite tight, especially with the first cable management step, it should be no problem, I think. But yeah, the cable didn't look as nice, and I was really worried to pinch it too hard or to maybe damage the coating and cause further problems. Actually, that was my biggest worry later on. But actually, there's also a small text on the connectors for what they are. And I think this one, the green one, are motor cables. The white one is the camera cable, I think. So yeah, but that cable was a little bit of a mess. No, not problematic, but yeah, I was a little bit worried too, especially like with the cover there. Would make sure that it doesn't get pinched, and yeah, I think you could easily strip the coating from the cable and then have a short somewhere, which would not be helpful, I guess. Yeah. So there are a little bit like a little bit soft cables. Yeah, I struggled here a little bit to manage it. But yeah, I think the thing to watch out, especially here with that cover, I think you could probably strip or even break a cable quite easily. Also, I would recommend that you go a little bit lower and look into the USB Type-C connector. So like if it's seated really deep in it before you screw it down. So from this angle you cannot actually see it, but if I would have gone deeper, and have had a look, I may have seen it. That was not quite as deep in there as it should be. Now all that's left to do with the major installations is to get the purge wiper on. It's like also called the poop chute. Yeah, you have to slide it on and then screw it down. Yeah, also hard to see a little bit. You have to put it firmly to the front. So like my first attempt, I didn't put in deep. It put in deep enough, and then I'd like to readjust a little bit. But yeah, I tried. I'm usually a little bit more cautious to not break anything. So now let's go to and mount the AMS light. Just overall only 4 screws to put in, and then the tubes. Actually, that was the first part where I was a little bit confused and put it on the wrong way around on the first try. But yeah, so the first time when the manual and reality failed me, maybe I was also a bit tired, who knows. But yeah, this is the easy one. We don't have the filament to print the parts to put it on top at the moment, so use the side mount. And at the moment the table is quite empty, so no problem. Also marked screws, yeah. And with the rolls, you have the correct color, so the orange ones go to the orange things, and the green ones to the green ones. So that's quite nice. I think since we are missing the filament, I'll put in the 20 grams white we have, and then maybe do a separate video on using multiple cars at once. Yeah. And once this is finished, let's go and print something finally. Well, first we have to calibrate the whole thing, of course. apparently it doesn't really matter which tube goes to which hole here in the hot end. Yeah, the short ones should go to the short side and the long ones to the long side, to the farther side. Yeah, I think it's so I said the AMS is controlled as well. It's probably guessing from there which color is going when and where. So, but that's something I'm really sounds a bit confusing. And we have the cable. Should clip in the cable there. That doesn't get stuck. And yeah, now we are almost ready. So the AMS cable needs to be connected to the machine. Does not matter which port we are using, so I use the closer one. And now we get in the energy cable, and then it's time to turn on the machine for the first time. So, yeah, probably have to cable management a little bit, like it's touching the cables there in operation, which I'm not quite fond of. And if you would look beforehand, you even could do it on the first try right away. Oh yeah, it's a little bit cramped here overall, so this is what it is. Yeah, setting up the printer and connecting the Wi-Fi and connecting the printer to the app. Also the computer worked flawlessly without any issues, so I didn't feel that part in particular, but it was easy, no problem. So I had been a little bit in panic because through some errors, but it seems the USB-C connector on the back was not connected correctly, so I reseated that, and now it can update and probably calibrate then. But that aborted the calibration actually, so yeah, I have to do that still. So now let's restart the calibration here. So maybe from the menu. I actually filmed the whole calibration process of 27 minutes, but I'll probably going to spare you that time. So now let's get to calibrating and printing. I somehow managed to put in the filament and load it on the first try without any manual and preparation. So almost happy with that one. Be reminded we only have 20 grams. That's what comes with the printer. So it's just enough for one scratcher, and yeah, this one should only be like and one boat. So yeah. So we'll probably do that and do easy scratcher and a boat and a benchy, and actually take the same time for some unknown reason. So yeah, now let's try to finish this video and bring it to some kind of conclusion. So here's where my lack of experience actually really hurts me, because here we have the worst 3D printed object I have ever created, and here we have the best 3D printed object I have ever created, and I actually lack totally the experience to say if it's good or bad. So but from what I hear, many people are astonished how good the quality is, apparently. So it's like the one 3D printed thing my brother-in-law made for me like 2 years ago. That's actually the only thing I ever had and have in my house. So yeah, that's probably material for future videos. Another thing I noticed when looking up filament prices, there is probably a Black Friday sale coming in like 2 days, so I really have to hurry up to push the video out, I guess. I just hope I didn't make a miss buy here by buying it 2 days too early. Well, yeah, who knows? See that the filament should go a little bit down, so we'll probably buy a little bit more PLA there. So then one thing I noticed while building the whole thing up, I think if you really have problems and have to send it back, so that the whole build up took me with calibration maybe an hour, overall. With filming, everything takes like 3 times longer, at least with the editing in the end. But like if at some point I would decide to send it back, that would really be a pain in the, you know what, due to having to reassemble it and putting it back in the box. That feels like something which could be potentially quite hurtful. Also, I broke the thing for the camera right away, because like, yeah, you should only put it sideways, and for me it looked like the temporary stuff that you have everywhere. So first losses already. So what else is there to say? Yeah, Halloween sale. It was, I think, overall easy to do, but I think if you are struggling with building IKEA stuff or Lego, it might be not for you in a way. So if you have no problem with IKEA, this should be no problem. I guess I think it's a little bit easier than IKEA and a little bit more difficult than normal branded Lego. But yeah, the difficulty was not, also the barrier to entry is really low, so it's really easy to get in, even for not quite tech savvy people, I think. Yeah, we lack the filament to try out more in this video, but I'm sure there will be some follow up there, especially if there are any questions or maybe points I should hint out, or stuff coming up, or the errors or whatever. Guys, thank you for watching, and yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video. It was informative. Let me know in the comments if this video has any use whatsoever, if you enjoyed it whatsoever. Yeah, it's a little bit more effort than I usually do, so yeah. And hopefully the quality is better than usual, which is still terrible, but yeah. So I would like have a Hale 9000 thing here, but yeah. Let's see you in the next videos, guys. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.